Battles like this only come around so often. An unstoppable force meets another unstoppable force. Montana and Elway in 93, Brady Luck in 14, Goff and Mahomes in 2018. Tonight, it's Mahomes again, but with a new challenger. The gunslinger takes on Arrowhead for the first time, and the world takes notice. It's the Cowboys and the Chiefs on Cowboys Pregame Live.
Week 11 of the NFL season is upon us, and so is a golden opportunity for a benchmark for a 7-2 Cowboys team that is very much so in the hunt for a top seed in the NFC. And what better team to test the benchmark against than the Kansas City Chiefs that over the last 3 seasons have been the mark of consistency in the NFL. It started with their Super Bowl win back in 2019, a win over the San Francisco 49ers. They got back to the Super Bowl last season, this time falling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the GOAT, Tom Brady. Well, Patrick Mahomes and company, what did they do as an encore here in 2021? Well, it wasn't the start that Andy Reid and his Chiefs anticipated. 3-4 to start the season, but guess what? They flipped a switch. Still one of the more talented teams in the NFL this season. They've won 3 straight just in time to return home to Arrowhead Stadium, the loudest stadium in the world. And today they look to give the Dallas Cowboys some headache and some heartache in Week 11. The Cowboys with an opportunity to try and win against one of the best teams in the NFL. And we're going to break it down for you here on Cowboys Pregame Live. Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback with you. I'm Kyle Yeomans. We're soon to be joined by Britt Johnson, Nick Eatman, Nate Newton, and, of course, Rob Phillips with Stephen Jones later on. But, gentlemen, these are the games that you live for from an NFL standpoint. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott. Offense v. offense. Defenses have an opportunity to make a statement today, too. But this is just one of those games that you really circle on the schedule going into the year.
Yeah, this is a huge game. This is a big-time matchup. I mean, you got the Dallas Cowboys, who have basically been dominating the entire season except for a slip-up against the Denver Broncos. And then you got Kansas City coming. And, I mean, this team has winners of the past 3 games. Mahomes and his offense are starting to click again. They're looking like that offense that led this team to 3 straight AFC championship games. So, to me, this is a marquee matchup. It's the best game of the week.
This is definitely the best game of the week, and I have been waiting on this game all season long. The reason being, we've had a great season yet so far here at Dallas Cowboys, but when you play a team that has been known to be champions, that's when you have an opportunity to prove not only to yourself, but to the rest of the league that, hey, we're here to play.
Yep. And you're going to have to do it without a couple of your key pieces as well. News earlier in the week that both Amari Cooper not available for the Dallas Cowboys as he was added to the COVID-19 list. News earlier this weekend that there was no Tyron Smith as well. We'll hit both of those guys at different points, but let's start with Amari Cooper. How big is not having him in the lineup tonight?
Yeah, you hate to see it. You hate to see one of the team's, best players, one of their leaders on the team miss a game of such magnitude. And in years past, I think this would have killed the team. But this is a little bit different. They're extremely deep out there. I'm sure they'll plug in a Ced Wilson. They'll plug in a Noah Brown to help fill the void. Dak Prescott should be able to go out there and distribute the ball to the rest of his playmakers, let them do what they do best, and that's make plays. But overall, I don't see a significant dip in production from this offense, even though we don't have Amari Cooper.
Oh, Barry, I'm going to say dip, baby, dip.
Oh, dip, baby, dip. All right.
These boys are, without Amari Cooper, they only have a 48% winning percentage. So we need to make sure that these guys, that everybody at that position steps up, takes advantage of the opportunities that are presented. We know we're in a track meet today, and we need to be Usain Bolt.
Ooh, okay.
Amari Cooper second on the team in receptions with 44, 583 yards as well. But Tyron Smith out for the 3rd straight week. Throughout the week of practice, it really looked like he was going to be available. How did the Cowboys adjust without him against this Kansas City defense?
To me, this is going to be a tough one. I mean, we've seen what happened in years past when Tyron missed time, and it was a debacle. But, recently we've got a lot of swing tackles in there. Terrence still should be able to step up and go in there in that left tackle position and do damage, but he will get tested because they have Frank Clark on that outside. They got Chris Jones, so he'll be tested. But to me, this is a big-time loss for the Cowboys.
Jones, Clark, Ingram. Those are the names that we need to be able to identify on this defensive front. Those are the guys that are their game records, and we cannot allow those guys to get off. We need to make sure that Steele is ready to play and provide him some assistance in the process.
And we mentioned Tyron Smith not available. We're going to talk about Terrence Steele and a couple more moves on that offensive line coming up later in the show. But let's take a look at some of the NFC standings at the moment. The Cowboys, like I said, with a golden opportunity to get back in the thick of things. Oh, well, guess what? They're already in the thick of things. With just the 2 losses so far, currently sitting third. Both Arizona and Green Bay have games this week, but they have bye weeks in the near future. So how big of a win would this be today for Dallas to keep pace in this race?
I think it will, further confirm, further solidify that this Cowboys team is a Super Bowl contender. I think a lot of people knock this team because they haven't had a significant win or a win over one of the, playoff premier teams. But a win against Kansas City in Arrowhead, in that hostile territory, I think it'll get guys thinking a little bit different about how good this Cowboys team can be.
Well, first of all, you have to add up, you want to take care of your division, right? You want to take care of the NFC East. That gets you in the playoff. Now, all of a sudden, now you want to take the things up and say, hey, how many wins can we get? All right, this is an AFC division where, right, we're going against those guys on the other side, but we still need the victories because ultimately we want that first round bye. We need to beat out all the guys in the NFC so that we can make sure we can get that first round bye, have a short track to the Super Bowl because ultimately we want to walk away with that ring, baby.
Hey, you're exactly right. And Kansas City's been there, done that before. That's why there's been so much excitement around this game. I mean, the fact that fans are looking at this and saying, Cowboys have a legitimate shot to win, even without some of their key pieces, is enough to get Cowboys Nation riled up. And who better to take a look at Cowboys Nation on Twitter than our very own Britt Johnson. Britt checks in with the rest of Cowboys Nation.
Thanks so much, Kyle. Britt Johnson here. In Twitter world, I missed you guys so much. It has been way too long since I've done one of these. So let's get right into these tweets for this week before the Chiefs game. David Hellman, who works for Dallas Cowboys, said, it's finally here, y'all. Chiefs-Cowboys game day has arrived. And of course, we all loved this video, but here he has Trayvon as the football gods, Aiden here is us, and Dak as week 11 saying, it's good to see you. Yes, it is. We have been waiting for this since the schedule came out in May. So definitely excited for this upcoming game. The Cowboys versus Chiefs game on Sunday really has a playoff feel to it. The excitement around it, 2 big name QBs, 2 big name teams. It has all the star power. I absolutely cannot wait for Sunday. Well, you don't have to wait much longer. Sunday is here. Next, we got this one, Cowboys Talk. In my humble opinion, I think and have thought this all year. We are a bad matchup for the Chiefs. We are physical, can run the ball, and we have receivers. We score 7 more than we score 3. Last but not least, we have Micah Parsons to make Mahomes' life hell. Well, yes, I hope Micah gets at least 1 sack today. He's literally leading the league for rookies in that position. So Chiefs versus Cowboys this Sunday. Need wings? I got you covered. DM 4-time slots. I'm pretty sure his DMs are all full. You have to have some chicken wings and some barbecue chicken wings at that for this game in particularly. And last but not least, Cassidy said, people really say things like Cowboys are frauds. Look at the Denver game. Dak is a product of his weapons. Dallas will be a one-and-done team in the playoffs. Then turn around and say, if Mahomes and KC beats Dak and Dallas, they're back and Patrick Mahomes is MVP front runner. Yeah, they do say that kind of stuff a lot, but Cowboys fans, we're not listening to that. Thank you guys for these amazing tweets. I missed you guys so much, and I'll see you guys soon.
We will check back in with Britt coming up later on, but she's exactly right. There's a lot of excitement around this game, not only on the Cowboys side of things, but on the Chiefs side as well. Starting 3-4, have the 3 straight wins, and now they get a chance at home to take on a team, at least at the moment, as explosive as this Dallas Cowboys team. So it is going to be a fiery atmosphere at Arrowhead Stadium, and lucky for us, we've got Nick Eatman on the ground there in Kansas City. Nick, first off, thanks again for taking some time with us. What's the atmosphere going to be like in Kansas City in a stadium quite like that one?
It's funny how you say going to be like, because going to be like it's going to be raucous for the Chiefs. But as it is right now, it's about 90% Cowboy fans. As the Cowboy fans that get here early, a lot of blue in this stadium. But you know how it's going to be when they kick off at 3:25 p.m. and then probably throughout the 4 quarters, if not more than that. But, yeah, this is a very loud place. But one of those college-type atmospheres, I think, today, because the Cowboy fans are certainly here, and they're going to bring it.
That's good. It's good to hear, at least at the moment. Of course, Kansas City, a doable drive from Dallas, so a good representation for Cowboys Nation out there in Missouri. But now, Nick, I mean, there's a lot of lineup changes back and forth between really the early parts of this week and now, of course, game day. Which one sticks out to you the most, and especially at the wide receiver position? How do the Cowboys have some success without Amari Cooper?
Well, I think that both of the big issues are Amari Cooper and Tyron Smith, and both of them are one of those where you thought on Wednesday and Thursday you're going to have them. So that's one of those things where they didn't practice without them. That could be tricky, but the Tyron Smith situation has been one that they've known Terrence Steele is going to be ready to go. To answer your question about wide receiver, they do have a lot of weapons, of course. Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown. I think this is going to be a big game for Dalton Schultz. He hasn't had a big game the last 2 or 3 weeks, but he is probably going to have a good one here. When you look at the outside, the Chiefs struggle with deep balls. They're going to have to protect that. That middle should be wide open. The Chiefs have had some problems with tight ends. I think this could be a breakout game for Dalton Schultz.
Hey, Nick, what's going on over there? Looking smooth as always. But, I got to talk about the defensive side of the football. With all these weapons that Kansas City possesses on that side, can we see Diggs traveling with Hill or maybe even Kelsey, or do we just see him strictly on one side of the field, and whoever comes to him, that's who he's going to take?
Well, that sounds like a great project for Rob Phillips to ask Stephen Jones about. He might not give us an answer, but at least we can try. I think your answer is yes. Yes. All of that. Diggs on Kelsey. Diggs on Tyreek Hill. You got to confuse Patrick Mahomes the best you can. He is the MVP of the Super Bowl and MVP of the league, so it's hard to confuse those guys. But you do know that you can't. You have to mix it up. Barry, you know as well as anybody, you got to play different things. But Diggs against Tyreek Hill, that scares me. I mean, I did hear a Usain Bolt reference earlier. That's about the only guy I would think could maybe hang with Tyreek Hill. But you got to try some different ways.
Mr. Nick at Night, good to see you as always, man. Hey, question for you. On the offensive line, we understand that when we step up to the line of scrimmage, we are one unit. However, what we put on film on our left side with Connor Williams and Terrence Steele, there is some question in terms of how effective we can be. With Chris Jones, Mr. Ingram over there, and Frank Clark, what do you think our approach is going to be to try to shut down guys on that side, as we know they're going to overload our left side?
Yeah, without a doubt, Terrence Steele is going to be starting on that left side. Looks like Connor McGovern now will be starting at left guard. And so you want to give some help. The only thing with that help in the left side, most teams like to play right-handed, the tight end, the fullback. You don't see a lot help with the left side. The Cowboys have done it, though, the last few weeks. So it's going to be a little bit of holding your breath and say, hey, Dak, you got to figure this out. You got to get the ball out quick. I'm really interested to see how Connor Williams will do when he comes in the game as that fullback. He's going to have to go in, report eligible, and I think he'll have that same role that Connor McGovern has had. Great athlete Connor Williams has been. Let's see if he can do that here today.
Nick Eatman joining us here from Arrowhead Stadium. Nick, thanks so much as always. Great insight, and we look forward to talking to you again next week. There he goes, Nick Eatman. And gentlemen, I mean, he just said it there. The left side of that offensive line is going to be tested. Luckily, the right side has La'el Collins, his third start since the suspension, his fourth game overall since the suspension, and he's starting to find a little bit of a rhythm. Here's what he had to say early in the week about finding that rhythm and finding a groove at the right tackle position.
I really just felt like last week was probably the first week where I really felt like I was back into my rhythm, kind of found my stance again and stuff like that. So definitely, like, the more reps I get, the better, the better it's going to be.
When you say find your stance again, what do you mean? Like, how does practice not bring it all back?
It's just like, one thing when you're just doing stuff on air, you just kind of doing stuff in shorts and T-shirt, to when you put the pads on and it's for real. So just kind of finding that, that really, finding that part of it. But I felt good. especially that last week.
Well, one of the things your teammates and coaches keep saying the last few weeks is you're the enforcer on the line. What makes you the enforcer, and what does it mean to be the enforcer?
Really just the mindset. It's a mindset thing, really. Just knowing that, what our group is about and standing on that, just being tough, physical, and just being there for your teammates.
What are the challenges you see with their front four?
They're very active, guys that, like to get after it. So, just like every week, we're going to have to play our best ball. We're going to get our best shot from everybody. So, same mindset, just going in a different territory and just making it our own.
Quick look out to AT&T Stadium and the Miller Lighthouse, a watch party going on today. This being as big of a game as it is, no surprise that there's a watch party going on at one of the coolest tailgating venues in all of the NFL and, in my opinion, really all of sports, as I'm joined here by Nate Newton. Let's take a look at some of the inactive list as well. There are a couple names on here that are a bit alarming for the Cowboys, but ultimately not anything unexpected going into at least game day. Going into the weekend, maybe a little bit different. No Tyron Smith, the left tackle, out for the third straight week. It will be Terrence Steele starting at left tackle. The biggest surprise, maybe Kelvin Joseph. He did not travel with the ball club because of a personal reason. And then Nashawn Wright, who recovered the punt block for a touchdown in last week's 43-3 win over Atlanta. He is inactive as well today. Any of these stick out to you, Nate?
Oh, yeah, Tyron Smith sticks out, man. We needed him this week, and I thought he would be ready this week, but he's not, and so we may be back with Steele, and we're going to have to do some things over there because they got a tandem of rushers that are real nice, and Frank and Jones.
Yeah, we just talked about that a little bit with Nick Eatman, but I do want to hear your opinion as a former lineman yourself. How big of an opportunity is this for Kansas City to take advantage of the line? Now, Terrence Steele's played the last 2 weeks. Any worries without Tyron Smith this week that you have seen through the last 2 weeks with Terrence Steele?
Yes, Tyron is a top three tackle, and that's just the bottom line. Steele is learning. He played 2 weeks ago, not so well. A week ago, he played pretty good. They're going to have to give him some help against Clark and those guys over there. And Chris Jones can get out there, so he's going to have to be technique sound, and more importantly, he's going to have to play physical, and he's going to have to play strong.
Going to have to do that against two really athletic defensive linemen. Now, there was a switch as well at the guard spot to the left guard. Now Connor McGovern starting. We heard Nick talk about that as well, replacing Connor Williams. Anything big out of that? And does that have any effect on the offensive line with some shuffling pieces?
Yes, it does. It's called continuity. These guys have not played a live gunshot in a game, and now they're going to have to find that continuity. They're going to have to find it fast because of the guys they're going up against.
Why is now the right time to make a move and to put Connor McGovern in for Connor Williams?
I think right now your boys, Connor Williams is kind of a little rut. I mean, he's been getting consecutive holding calls. Now you give Connor Williams, who's been competing and been doing good in practice, you give him his chance now with 7 or 8 games left, so you'll know. We can always go back to Connor Williams, but what if this guy, Connor McGovern, comes in and has a super great game against some great players? Then you may have found something.
Yeah, McGovern getting the start, but is there any chance, like you said, of Connor Williams maybe getting back into the mix as the season goes along?
If this kid flops. If he flops, then you back with Connor Williams. But they have been very competitive. They're high on both these kids, and they do great things. But you got to give this kid, Connor McGovern, a chance. I mean, short, stocky, strong bottom. Let's see if he's going to be a little bit more physical.
He had a great training camp, had a great start to the season, preseason, and then, of course, like we said, he's been mixing in at a fullback spot, which we anticipate Connor Williams getting into as well. Do you like the move from an overall standpoint?
Oh, yeah. I believe in competition. If you as a coach believe that a guy is ready to perform, you give him that opportunity, man. You don't want the season to pass and this guy not give an opportunity. Then when the season passes, next year. No, this thing is right now. Against the Kansas City Chiefs, you get a chance to see who you are, what you are, and if you win this game, it's over, baby.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Gives you a great opportunity to see exactly what you have at the offensive line spot. It's a great problem to have because in the past, protecting for Dak Prescott hasn't been easy on a couple of occasions, dating back most notably to the 2020 season. But this year, Dak Prescott's been having a fantastic start to the season, but really it's about the team mindset. Here's what he had to say about that earlier in the week.
No, not a measuring stick for myself. I mean, I think for this team going into a hostile environment, as you said, playing against a great quarterback, a good offense, great team. I mean, a team that was has been the team of the last 2 years, or last few years, I'd say, and just knowing how explosive they are, the star power they have. As I said, going into their environment, it's a great challenge for us as a team, challenge for our offense and our communication, challenge for us to just stand and play in the ups and the downs, and excited to go into it and be a great atmosphere and ready to go at it.
You had more time to watch football last year. How much did you watch him, and what do you most admire about his game?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I watched a lot of football, unfortunately, last year, but just his competitiveness. He never believes he's out of a game, thinks he can make every throw, and I think that's huge at this position, just to have that confidence. I think it goes a long way, and just bleeding to your other teammates, and those guys feeding off of that as well. It's huge, and he's a big-time playmaker. He's a great player, MVP, obviously, Super Bowl MVP, special talent.
It's the 8th time in NFL history that 2 quarterbacks, week 11 or earlier in the season, have 25 or more passing touchdowns. Either way you shake it, these are 2 of the top quarterbacks in the game, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and they face off for the first time tonight. And really, it's Dak's first trip to Arrowhead. It's Patrick Mahomes' first start against his childhood favorite team. But overall, there's a lot of pressure on both of these quarterbacks to perform for their squad. How much pressure specifically is on Dak?
I don't see it being that big of a pressure point right there. I just hope these guys don't make us one-dimensional. I hope they don't shut down the run, because if that's the case, like I said, they make us one-dimensional. And we know this offense, when it's at its peak powers, when it's at its best, they're extremely balanced with the run and the pass. So hopefully we can go out there, establish the run, establish the play-action pass, and we can walk out of Arrowhead with a W.
I don't believe that there's any pressure on Dak in terms of performance. I do believe in terms of him being a quote-unquote game manager, we need him to manage not only the effective play of our guys, but also their emotional intelligence. I think this is an easy game for us to get riled up and let the crowd affect us, let those guys yap at us a little bit, and we can get ourselves in some bad situations if we go out there and make some unnecessary penalties.
Who do you feel like has a better opportunity to get off to a hot start in this one?
I honestly believe Kansas City. I think Kansas City being in their own environment at home, they're comfortable and they're building off a lot of confidence off of last week.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I mean, Arrowhead is a very hard place to play, and it gets extremely loud, so you're going to have to be one in tune with your offense out there. I see Kansas City jumping out early. Hopefully we can catch them in the long run. 2
of just 5 quarterbacks in the NFL entering Week 11 with at least 20 passing touchdowns. Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow are the other 3. So pretty good company for the Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott. Oh, and by the way, Dak Prescott has 2,300 passing yards and a rushing TD to go along with it as well, while missing the Minnesota game earlier this year. So definitely plenty of excitement around the 2 quarterbacks, but these defenses want to get after it as well, most notably for the Cowboys defense, Micah Parsons. How is he going to fare going up against the weapons that Kansas City has in store?
How excited are you personally, and how excited do you get a sense your team is about this challenge of playing in Arrowhead? It's renowned for noise and playing against maybe the best quarterback in football.
Oh, for sure. We're super excited. I don't think every road is going to be easy, and this is a great challenge of ours. And to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I don't care what the record shows. I know the type of talent they have and what they're capable of. And I think they're a top 3 team in the NFL, so they need to get our best, and we need to go out there and show why we're the best at the end of the day.
What's unique about Mahomes?
I mean, his throw power, his ability to throw no looks, and I mean, this is a guy I like on Madden, so, my first time playing him, I'm really excited to see what he does in person, and he's just a terrific player, future Hall of Famer. Guy has done it all so early in his career.
How do you not get suckered by the no look?
I'm worried about him. I ain't worried about where he's throwing it. I'm worried about sacking him. I ain't worried about where he's trying to throw. I'm worried about getting to him, so.
There you hear, cut and dry, exactly what Micah Parsons wants to do, and they're going to have a challenge of doing it against some of the best in the NFL at their respective positions. These 2, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, have been terrorizing defenses throughout their entire career. Hill currently 4th in receiving yards, 3rd in receiving touchdowns. And then, of course, Kelce leads all tight ends in terms of targets this season. What do these guys have to do, this defense for the Dallas Cowboys, to try and slow down and limit those 2 from the wide receiver and tight end positions?
I think you got to be physical with these guys. I think you got to go ahead and get your hands on them. You got to jam them up at the line of scrimmage. You cannot let Tyreek Hill or Kelce get free releases out there, because that's when they destroy defenses. So you got to be physical physical with him. Throw off that timing. Throw off that chemistry between Pat Mahomes and his weapons out there. And if you could do that, hopefully it'll buy time for that D-line to get back there and make things hard for him. But it starts at the line of scrimmage. You got to get hands on these two guys.
I'm glad you got the answers, Barry. I don't know how you stop these guys. The relationship that Patrick Mahomes has with both of these guys is kind of like Stockton and Malone. You know, those guys are just, they're in sync. They understand each other. They know exactly where they're going to be. Tyreek Hill's one of the most explosive, quickest receivers, if not in the league. And then you have, obviously, Kelsey, who is a big body, athletic tight end, who is a sure thing in terms of being able to move the chains. It's a problem, and we take BC's advice to get these hands on these guys and let's disrupt some things, make them frustrated at their own crib.
You want to talk about great company? How about only Randy Moss and Jerry Rice had more touchdowns in their first 85 games than Tyreek Hill in his NFL career. Pretty impressive, to say the least. And then also, not to mention, Travis Kelce's up there with Hall of Fame numbers as well. And he had a touchdown receiving against the Dallas Cowboys back in 2017 as well. But you know who wasn't on the field in 2017? Trayvon Diggs. He's going to be tabbed with covering these guys, just how Barry asked Nick a little bit early on. Here's his thoughts on the weapons at hand and whether or not he's going to have some success against Kansas City.
Is Tyreek unlike anybody else you've covered so far?
He is the fastest.
What do you see as far as like taking those guys down after they make a catch and getting a yard after the catch?
Oh, you got to do a good job tackling them. Like I say, he's real fast. All of those guys can fly. So, you know, we got to make sure we do a good job of tackling and making the tackle on the first, the first hit.
So when guys that fast, do you not do as much bump and run? Do you kind of play off coverage, or how do you handle that?
It depends on the person that's checking them. Some people can press, some people can't press. Some people might like to press, slow them down a little bit. Some people can run with them. So it all depends on, who's guarding them and what you want to do in that particular situation.
Who can run with them?
Who can run with them? Everybody can run with them.
How much do you embrace the challenge that the Chiefs offense poses when they play like they did the other night?
We embrace it a lot. That just, give us something to look forward to in practice. Just going out there and knowing what type of game we about to go into.
Diggs now with 8 interceptions after his pick against Atlanta back in Week 10. He'll look to try and have some more success again today against the Kansas City Chiefs. And with more on that, let's go back to Britt.
Thanks so much, Kyle. Britt Johnson here. You know what, guys? I spoke to my granny this week. Unfortunately, she happens to be a huge Chiefs fan. She said she's going to be cheering for the Chiefs and praying for the Cowboys. And I said, you know what, Granny? I don't need your prayers, because guess what? We go into church service. Cue that music.
Hey! We are here in church service, Pastor Church with the great Britt Johnson. We're going to tell you how to slow down Pat Mahomes and this great Kansas City Chiefs offense.
Yes.
First, let's get straight to it. If it's up to you, let's get straight to it. First on my list, we have got to put pressure on Pat Mahomes. Look, it starts and ends with Pat Mahomes here. We have got to figure out a way to get this guy off his game. Now, I know this defense is without its two top dogs, DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory. But that'll give an opportunity for guys like Dorrance Armstrong, Odigizua, Terrell Basham to step up and do what they did last week in Atlanta and make plays out there. So this is going to we have to definitely get after Pat Mahomes out there, because if we don't, this has an opportunity to be a track meet, and I don't think this Cowboys defense wants any part of that.
I'm going to say I see Armstrong with another sack this week.
Oh, I would love it.
Yes.
That brings me to my next point. We have got to be physical with these wide receivers. Now, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie to you. They are loaded at the skill position here, and none more dangerous than Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. So we've got to be physical with these two guys. We've got to throw them off of their game. Now, look, I'm not sure completely how we're going to be able to take these guys away, but we got to make sure we take them away, because they are the deep threats for this Kansas City offense, and I don't think we want to track meet like I said before.
Yes. Now, I'll tell you what we should do here. We should be a little aggressive with that ball hawking skills. We had 3 interceptions last week. Guess who's third most interceptions this season? Patrick Mahomes with 10. So I'm seeing 11, 12, and 13 coming this week.
I would hope so. And that brings me to my last, but certainly not least point, Britt. We have got to be the deepest of the deepest.
Now, you're preaching right now, okay? Because this is the one, because right now Patrick Mahomes leads the league in pass attempts, pass plays, and passing yards. You know, our safeties and corners are going to be working hard on this one, so tell me what they got to do here.
Look, I'm talking to the safeties and corners like you just said. They've got to stay deep. This guy can make all the throws out there, and once you think you have him bottled up, he'll spin out of there by time and uncork a 70-yard bomb, and trust me, you do not want to be in a position where you watch that ball sail over your head for a touchdown, so you've got to stay deep. Make sure this offense goes the long way, 10 to 15 play drives. They will mess up along the way. Be ready to take up for your opportunity when that opportunity arises, but overall, got to stay deep, no cheap ones.
Yes, and speaking of those passing yards I was talking about, 50% of those passing yards come with the yak. So it's 1,600, over 1,600 yards this season alone. So we got to do maybe some prayers. So what is your prayer request for this game?
My prayer request is that we keep, defensively, we keep this takeaway train going. We're going against an unbelievable machine offensively in Kansas City. If we get the ball away from them, get it back to our offense, let them do what they do best, score points. But please, I'm praying, let's take this football away.
Well, we got to end with a praise report. We got to end positive. What you got for us?
For my praise report, I got to give praise to the mad scientist Dan Quinn out there. He's been amazing with this defense so far. It's been a complete 180 from last year. He didn't have his two top dogs last week against Atlanta. They still were able to take the ball away 3 times. I'm praising the guy, mad scientist Dan Quinn.
Got the game ball this week.
He got the game ball. Hopefully another one.
Yes. Thank you so much, Barry Church. I feel, rejuvenated. Got the Holy Ghost in me, and we will head back to you guys. I hope you guys are feeling good now, too, after that one.
Brett, I feel much better about it now that I've heard Barry Church kind of break it down, lay it all out there. Here's the AT&T District, by the way, down in downtown Dallas, getting ready to watch the Cowboys and the Chiefs. Week 11, a marquee matchup, 3:25 kickoff on Fox. We're back here from the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco. Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. And gentlemen, the physicality, number 2 on church service this week. That number 2 point is so imperative. It was imperative last week. Jordan Lewis set the tone for the Cowboys against the Atlanta Falcons a week ago. How big is he going to be this week in trying to set the tone again against the Chiefs?
Well, he had a game of his life last week, and we need him to run it back. we need him to double that up again this week, because we obviously have a great task at hand in terms of trying to slow down guys at the likelihood of Tyreek Hill. I think that's going to be one of his main keys today, obviously, in terms of his ability to be able to match him quickness-wise, speed-wise, but we can't swing and miss. We talk about the physicality. We can be physical, but it's all fun and games until you go out there and try to be physical and you miss. Now all of a sudden you're relying on your safety backside to help.
So what he's saying is get on your horse. You're going to have to be able to run. I mean, you got to play this guy. You got to play up close. In certain situations, you got to play back off. But when you're trying to be physical and get on this guy, you make sure you put hands on him, because if you don't, he do a crossing route that is out of this world. He's hard to catch.
Do you feel like Lewis has a good matchup in terms of his skill set versus the skill set of the Chiefs' weapons?
I think Lewis and Brown have probably the closest skill set in terms of attributes to be able to guard Tyreek Hill, but I'm not sure if there's any human that can actually stop this man.
Oh, wow. I agree, man. But I tell you what, when you get a chance to tackle him hard.
Got to get him down, got to wrap up, got to have some sort of success defensively, because that's going to be the key in getting a win. Jordan Lewis knows that as well. Here's in his own words, what he anticipates from Kansas City.
They have all the weapons. I mean, great quarterback and great receiving core, and they definitely have a great running back too. Get it done. He's just coming back, so those guys are extremely hard to prepare for, and I feel like we've been doing a good job of it.
You played an opponent this year that can draw plays out like these guys can?
Yeah, the Tom Brady. I forgot about Tom, I guess. But I mean, yeah, they definitely have some, different pieces, especially with the speed wise. Those guys can get it done. I mean, he can throw at least 80 yards. I mean, but he can get it out there to those guys, those very explosive guys. So I mean, you just got to go out there and get it done.
I guess I meant more like the 7-8 second plays where you got a plaster and things.
I mean, we practice that. That's in our system. Coach McCarthy always practices that. We practice that in OTAs, scramble drills and stuff like that. So that's in our fundamentals.
Does that give you a sense of confidence when you just talked about, hey, we were against Tom Brady and that receiving group, you had Brown, you had Evans?
It's bi-weekly, honestly. You can't think of it like that. Every opponent is a new opponent, and I mean, this is a very good one that we're about to face. A very talented offense that's very battle tested, and they definitely been at the highest peak of the game. So I mean, it's going to be a really good test, and we just got to go out there and play one play at a time.
You've been here for a little bit. Is this the best secondary you've been with?
I mean, combination of coaching and everything like that, letting us be, who we are and going out there and putting our best ability, to the forefront. Of course, I feel like, we always had talent. I know AB always talks about it, but he's always been a talented guy, and I feel like I've always been a talented guy. But we have people to come around and cultivate that talent.
So certainly a challenge for Jordan Lewis and that Cowboys defense going up against the weapons of Kansas City. But it's also going to be a tough task guarding guys like DALvsKC coming out of the.
Man, I ain't having that, man. Every week y'all talk about skill position players.
That was perfect,
That's not going to determine what's happening this week. Frank Clark and Chris Jones is going to determine what's happening. Y'all need to give me mine, man, right now.
You know what? I like this. I like this idea. Okay, let's take a look at some of the numbers for Chris Jones and Frank Clark, two guys that certainly have had their fill this season for a Kansas City defense that really hasn't been uber impressive, but they're going to have to find a way to get some pressure on this offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys. And Nate, they're going to do that in a couple different ways, and it starts by a lot of movement.
Yes, it does, but this is the thing you have to understand. Is Chris is quick enough on his own, and Frank is quick enough on his own to make plays. But when we become in third down or long situations, there's two things that I'm scared is going to happen here. Is they're going to start doing games. They're going to start doing stunts. And the first one we're going to go over is the tackle in and tackle in in out, okay? We're going to go over that right now. We're going to show you what can possibly happen.
So I am Connor McGovern.
Yes, you are.
You are Terrence Steele.
Yeah.
And this is going to be is this Clark?
This Frank Clark, and I'm Chris Jones. Yeah, I'm the man that's hard.
I love how Barry's beefed up over here. This is fantastic.
I'm going to say set hut, and then I'm going to take set hut, and I'm coming right here. I'm trying to pick him and hold both of them guys. If neither one of them come off, I got me a sack or a hit. But if he does not get it right, I got a pressure, okay? Boy, I'm telling you now. I'm telling you. Dak, don't let it happen. Okay, anyway, now the next one is where we got the end coming in, and I'm looping around. What I'm going to try to do is get Connor McGovern to believe that I'm coming inside. Boom, boom. And I'm going to take one step, and I'm going to come right here. He's going to pick him, and I'm hoping to be free. I'm hoping Steele is fast enough because we don't need a hit on the quarterback. Man, skill positions ain't going to decide this. Cowboys offensive line and the defensive line of Kansas City going to decide this. And I'm telling you, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. Man, let's put on some uniforms.
Man, he can say suit up right now. Are you kidding me? Who could say that you were an offensive lineman? You know this better than anybody, so you know how integrity or how much is going to rely really on getting your assignments right. And those two guys who haven't started a game together, Connor McGovern, Terrence Steele, going to have to get it right. And Zeke Elliott's going to be running behind those guys. Here's what he had to say about the matchup at hand, and really a question that's never asked around the Cowboys. Is this a definitive game or a definitive chance for a big win?
It seems like guys is that every week. Is this a statement win? It's another football game. You know, every week's important in this league. You know, every team we play is a very good football team, and you know, if we go out there and get a win on the road in a hostile environment, you know, I think that would be a statement.
When you play a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, how important is it for y'all on offense to make sure that you're running up the score?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to us on offense just to make sure that we're staying ahead of a change, that we're converting on third down. Just kind of making sure we're giving our defense enough rest time. Just kind of not putting them in bad situations. So I mean, just for us as an offense, like I said, just staying in front of the chains, converting on third down, and scoring points.
Do you feel like we're title contenders? Or do you feel like we need to beat these guys because of what they've been for people to say we are title contenders, or do you really feel that way right now?
I feel like we need to win Sunday because it's the next game, not because they've won Super Bowl recently. We need to win Sunday because that's the next stop on our journey to winning the championship. There we go.
Zeke's all smiles throughout the week. We'll see if he's all smiles today. I know there's a lot of people smiling out there. Even got the Christmas tree up downtown at the AT&T District. It's not Thanksgiving yet, but that's okay. Celebrate it however you want. So everybody's celebrating today, hopefully to be celebrating a Cowboys win over the Chiefs. Back here in studio, and we just heard from Ezekiel Elliott. He's going to have a big game behind that offensive line that we just highlighted with Nate's very adamant demonstration off into the corner. But how big are Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott going to have to be for this Cowboys offense in order to get a win?
They are going to be very huge. They're going to be major for these guys. The reason being is because the Kansas City Chiefs, they average over 30 minutes per game in terms of time of possession. If we want to be effective in terms of increasing our chances of winning this ball game, we need both of our tailbacks to keep this thing rolling, keep the chains moving, get them the ball early, get them the ball often. Let's keep the Kansas City offense off the field. Sometimes the best defense is a great offense.
Yes, and what we need to do as running backs, first of all, our coach always told us we can't have no fumbles. We can't have no drop passes and no negative yards for gain. We got to be at .0 or plus yardage at all times. You have to run physical, and when you have a chance to hit somebody or chip somebody coming out of that backfield, you take full advantage of it.
Over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns from that duo between Pollard and Elliott. They'll look to have some success this afternoon. Now, on the other side, for the Kansas City Chiefs, they also get their running back as well, as this defensive front is going to have to deal with Clyde Edwards-Helaire back from IR this week, his first game back since week 5. Isaiah, what does he bring to the Kansas City offense that could really challenge the Cowboys front seven?
Versatility and mismatches. He's 5'8", 210 pounds, so he's short and stout, but that boy is lightning quick. He has great hands out the backfield. He's averaging 4.7 yards per carry in his 5 appearances. He has 2 touchdowns, but guess what else, Nate?
What's that?
He got 2 fumbles.
Oh.
So there's an opportunity to go out there and get these strips all day long.
Right. I tell you what I liked about it is Kansas City was out of the first round, went back in the first round to get this kid. That means he's very special. He became the instant man last year, and now he is the man. So they've been waiting for this day. He probably missed last week just to get this week. But you know what? Those 2 fumbles going to cost him.
Yeah, it could. It very well could, and that's an opportunity for the Cowboys, who continue to force turnovers, most of them interceptions throughout the year, but maybe you can get a hand in there and rip the football out. Still looking for his first rushing score of the year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but he has those 2 receiving scores, which shows just his versatility coming out of the backfield. Speaking of versatility, Tony Pollard showed a ton of that, and our very own Britt Johnson had a chance to catch up with him. Britt?
Yes, that's right, Kyle. I actually got to sit down with Tony Pollard, who has been a return specialist since his high school days, and he broke down for me what it is like to have 10 guys coming right at you. You guys do not want to miss this. Check it out. All right, let's get started. So in high school, you were two-way player, two-way starter. You played really every position on the field, but mostly you were cornerback and you played receiver as well. Then you get to college, you become this return specialist. Then you get to the league and you're part of one of the best running back duos in the league. Let me ask you this, what position was the most challenging for you?
To pick up and...
Yeah, just like in your career.
I would say probably receiver.
Why is that?
I played running back all my life. I feel like running back is pretty natural, you know, just run. You get the ball and just run. You don't have to catch it, it's a handoff. So I've been doing that, so that comes natural to me. And when I played defense was fun just because I feel like it's more freedom than on offense. You know, offense, you have a certain spot you got to line up in, you know, a certain formation. Defense, you can be over here, but know you got to end up over there, but you got the freedom to run where you want to, so.
And you get to hit people.
Exactly.
Like, who doesn't like that?
But if I had to pick, I'd say receiver.
Receiver?
Yeah.
So my next question, you know, are a return specialist. You got really good at it when you were in college and you've continued to be good in that position. Tell me what is going through your head when you have 10 guys coming at you. Like, what is that experience like? Walk me through that.
I mean, I really don't think about it like that because we practice it so much, and you know, it's something I've been doing since I've been playing football, you know, since high school, college, you know, doing kick returns. So, you know, it's pretty second nature, you know, just follow the scheme, you know, trust the guys up front. That's what a lot of it, you know, you have to trust your blockers up front, trust that they're going to be where they have to be, block their man when they're supposed to, and then just trust it and hit it.
You got to be a little like all these guys are coming at you, especially in the NFL. Like, what was there a difference returning in college and then now coming to the league and guys are way bigger than the guys that you went against in college?
Yeah, it's definitely different from college. I would say the biggest difference is probably the rule change because, you know, college, you know, you could line up behind the kicker and get a running start, and then you could be running when the kicker's kicking. So, that's a big difference, you know, having the kickoff team being able to build up speed and, you know, get their momentum going. So having those guys go from a standstill, and then I think they scooted the front line blocks up a little closer so it wouldn't be as big of a compact. So.
Well, to me, I feel like that is the bravest position in the league, is being a return guy. That seems very difficult to me.
Yeah, you definitely got to be a little crazy for it.
A little crazy. I didn't want to say it. You said it, though. You said it. Okay.
You can catch the entire interview with Britt Johnson and Tony Pollard on DALvsKCowboys.com. Welcome back into Cowboys Pregame Live alongside Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans, where we're going to take a trip down memory lane a little bit. This is one of the highly anticipated matchups for the Cowboys in the regular season over the last couple of years. So we're going back to your playing days and a couple of the biggest games throughout your regular season tenure, because you played in a couple really big ones.
Yeah, you know, these games are close to my heart too, man. Yes, they are.
Got a couple good ones up here. We've got 5. You're going to rank these 1 through 5. We'll start with number 1, and then we're going to kind of say where this one would have landed between the Cowboys and the Chiefs today. Which one's number 1 on your list?
Right here.
Right there?
Yes, sir. Thank you. That Philadelphia, 1991. Yes. Number 2, you want me to explain it to you?
I want you to explain it to me.
This game here, we played them twice. You know, NFC East game. This is what got me. The first game, they sacked us 11 times. They hit our quarterbacks crazy. The second time we played them was this game right here. Jimmy Johnson told us, I don't care if you got to gouge them, I don't care if you got to cut them, clip them, do not let them hit our quarterback. We gave up 1 sack. Guess who gave up that sack? Your boy. But anyway, we broke this game open. Kevin Martin went for an 80-plus punt return in the second half, and we won this game, and it started a playoff run you would not believe.
No doubt. It started a run. It was a big-time win because it really kind of ended some losing for the Cowboys and started the dynasty. But there are some other games up here. What's number 2 on your list?
Right here. Number 2, Washington. It should have been number 1 because we didn't win, but I think, one game that year? One game we won that year, I think it was. And if I got this right, and Jimmy Johnson told us, we don't care how we win this game, we're going to hit them with everything we got. We're going to be like a gorilla, just going to cage them up like a gorilla, and we're going to beat them down. Guess what? We won on an onside kick. We won the game.
Now, what about the rest of these games? Give me 3, 4, and 5 in terms of some of these other great regular season matchups.
I better go right here. I'm changing my thing on you.
You're switching it up.
I'm switching it up right here. No, right here. I'm going right here.
Number 3 with Kansas City. That was a Thanksgiving game against the Chiefs.
They thought they were going to come in here and handle us. They had a great record. I think they had lost 1 game, or we had lost 1 game and was undefeated, about 7, 8 wins, and they thought they was coming in here. We dogged them.
Wow.
We rodeo-rusted them. Michael Irvin told us we're going to beat them down, and our fearless leader caught a one-handed catch over a guy. I don't even know the defensive back. It don't matter. That was it right there.
There you go. I like it. Maybe you get some of that magic.
Big dog on big dog.
At Arrowhead Stadium. Now, really quickly, 4 and 5. Which ones are up here for you? In terms of San Francisco and then that New York.
I'll go with this in New York.
4, and then which one's 5 real quickly?
Right here.
These are all 5 of your games, all ranked as a whole, but kind of along the same lines as this. How can a game like today propel a team like this Dallas Cowboys team here in 2021?
It just galvanizes you. It galvanizes you. It makes you feel as one, man, and you feel invincible, man. If they come out of KC today with a win, these guys going to be thinking they can't be beat, man, and they're going to be hungry the rest of the year. It don't make you like it was 2 weeks ago against Denver. It don't make you lackadaisical. It just make you hungry. It just makes you crazy. I'm excited about this game, y'all. That's where we don't mess it up, but I'm good. Let's go.
Hey, there's a lot of excitement around this game, and we can talk about games like this in the past because of how it compares, but really from a player standpoint, they want to keep it a week-to-week basis. Here's what both Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb had to say in terms of keeping this just another week on the gridiron.
Not necessarily put on our own show, just going out there doing what we do. Make routine plays, make big plays when needed and when called upon. I feel like we go in there, don't really want to make the game bigger than what it really is. Obviously, they have a great offense, very explosive, very explosive players. And I'm excited for the matchup.
Do you feel they've been the standard kind of offensively in the league for the last 2 or 3 years, and now you guys are kind of making a claim that look at you, that you may be in that spot?
Yeah, it's safe to say that. I think we're the number 1 offense right now. That's a great state to have. Just got to keep building off of it to keep that, that reputation. And by doing that, you got to go in and execute week in and week out.
Think you guys have anything to prove in this game at all?
I mean,
KSC champions?
you always got something to prove. I mean, every week. But, you know, it's just another game for us. I mean, I hope that's, you know, how it is every week. You just got to think of it like another game because that's what it is. Still the regular season. There's plenty of ball left to be played, but, you know, they're next up on the schedule. So that's just how we're going into it.
You know, how exciting Mahomes is as a player to watch, and how can you not like that? But can you just talk about Dak and the level he's playing and being considered among the top quarterbacks in the league? I mean, 2 guys going at it this weekend.
I mean, that's what you want. That's what everybody wants to see. 2 great football players, great teams, you know, great offenses, powerful defenses. It's going to be a battle. So it's, you know, just sit back, get your popcorn. It's going to be a good one.
What do you think of Connor McGovern's work?
So all 3 of these guys not on the field for the 2nd straight week. Michael Gallup returned last week for the first time since week 1. Well, Amari Cooper is out this week, and they are going to miss his production. Of course, Gallup's numbers in just 2 games this year. So there's a little bit of added pressure, I think, on both Gallup and CeeDee Lamb to perform. We heard from Nick Eatman earlier. He said that Dalton Schultz could have a little added pressure on him. What do you guys think about this offense in the absence of Amari Cooper, and how much Lamb and Gallup and even some of those other receivers are going to have to step up?
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to step up out there. You know, Amari Cooper is the bona fide number 1 out there, but if they were by themselves, like if it was CeeDee Lamb by himself or it was Michael Gallup by himself, I would see immense pressure on these guys. But there's so many options that they have out there. I think that alleviates the pressure between those 2. They're both going to go out there. They're both going to ball out. So I'm hoping to see that in Kansas City this afternoon.
Attack by committee. We need everybody out on this wagon together. We need to be the juggernaut, go out there, hit these guys in the mouth. We don't want to make this thing an isolated event. We don't want these guys to feel as if they have all the pressure in the world to go out here and route up this entire defense. Like you said, BC, spread the ball around. Everybody take care of their responsibilities and have a good, nice team win.
You know, just catch the ball, fellas. When the ball come to you, make your plays because too many drops will hurt us. And that's what I like about the guy that's missing, Cooper. You know, he catches the ball, and that's what we have to do as a unit by committee. Make sure we catch the ball first and foremost.
Got to be solid with your hands all the way through and make sure you make the grab. There were a couple things in the loss against Denver where you looked at and said, hey, the receivers bobbled it, dropped it, and it didn't necessarily work in their favor. Now, as for the guys trying to stop CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup this week, how about Tyrann Mathieu? This has been a secondary for Kansas City who has had their fair share of struggles this season, but Tyrann Mathieu, as you see there, has played really well again. No surprise that he's back at it again. How much can he wreak some havoc in the backfield or in the secondary for Kansas City?
He can definitely wreak some havoc back there. He's kind of a wild card. He reminds me of like Troy Polamalu back in the day. Like, you don't know when he's going to blitz, when he's going to drop in coverage. He might become a robber and steal a pass here and there. So this guy is definitely a guy that you got to have your keys on. I'm sure Dak Prescott, Kellen Moore, they'll know where number 32 is before every snap.
You took the words out of my mouth. Troy Polamalu-ish. All right, you better know exactly where this guy is. He might be at the line of scrimmage. He might be in the secondary. He might be at cornerback. We don't know. But you better circle him, and you better know exactly where this doggone honey badger is at because we need some pest control.
It is amazing. A couple of weeks ago, he went back to the honey badger only on the field. Off the field, he Tyrann Mathieu. But here, he's the honey badger. You better know he's trying to dig a hole somewhere and hurt somebody. Believe that.
Yeah, and he is not in the wild, but he's going to be in a wild atmosphere today at Arrowhead Stadium. How much can the crowd play a factor? I mean, world record holders for the loudest decibel level reached in a football game, Arrowhead Stadium. How much can this crowd really play a factor against the Cowboys?
I'm telling you, it can play a lot. You know, I've played twice at Arrowhead Stadium and caught 2 fat L's. I mean, once that team starts going, once they start rolling offensively, I mean, it's hard to hear anything out there. This is a crazy environment. Hopefully Dak and those guys got some silent count going on, but it's going to be a rowdy one in Arrowhead today.
Hey, football is a game of momentum, and unfortunately we are in their house, and we do not want these guys to get this thing rocking. Don't let them get ahead early, and then we won't have to worry about these boys getting out their seat.
True.
When they singing that national anthem, I heard 2 jets came by, and we couldn't even hear them because when they say home of the Braves, they be booming, baby. Unlike Barry, we went in there and got it. We put the L on them.
Got the L.
Got the dub? Yes, sir.
Let's hope that is over with. That's in the rearview mirror, and you can get a dub instead of the L. Of course, that's the thought process around that Cowboys team. They're not necessarily intimidated, but you got to make sure everything is put together because if not, you could be in some trouble with that environment. Let's go back out to Arrowhead Stadium and join Rob Phillips, who's now joined by Stephen Jones.
Thanks, Kyle. Here with Cowboys Chief Operating Officer Stephen Jones. And Stephen, quite a buzz in this stadium as we expected. You've been with the Cowboys for over 30 years. Where would the Dak-Mahomes quarterback matchup rank in some of the quarterback matchups you've enjoyed seeing over the years?
Well, right there at the top, especially to have some of our rising stars. They're great right now, but they're going to be great for a long time, both of them. And certainly to roll in here to one of the greatest places to play NFL football right here at Arrowhead Stadium. Obviously, their fans are some of the best in our league. And, it's tough to play here. I mean, it's outdoors. As we know, we got a good wind rolling right now. It's going to cool off quick, I'm sure. And but the great news is you don't have to worry about your team being ready for a game like this. I mean, this is obviously a team with a lot of pelts on the wall, Super Bowl champions, been to Super Bowls, championship games, and certainly a great challenge for us, but one I think our team's ready for.
This team, as you mentioned, this Cowboys team, battle-tested, has been through some injuries and dealt with that. Tyron Smith inactive today. How close was he to playing today, and how do you feel about him in the next week or so coming back?
Well, he was close, but at the same time, we didn't want to get into a situation where, like last time, where we brought him back and he played for about a quarter and a half, and then he couldn't finish. We want to make sure, he's healthy because still got a lot left to play in this season, and this shouldn't be something we even have to manage going forward. Once he's well, he should be ready to go, and tough not to have him today, but at the same time, both Lyle and Steele did a great job last week, and fully expect him to step up again this week.
And you guys feel great about Connor McGovern as well, stepping into left guard today.
Absolutely. He's been itching for this opportunity. I know it's tough for Connor Williams, but he certainly has got some things he can clean up, but it's great to have them both. But it is Connor McGovern's turn. He deserves to have the opportunity, and convinced he'll step up.
Pretty big "Let's Go Cowboys" chant going on right out here, right by the sideline here. Amari Cooper, Friday, he found out he's not playing today because of reserve COVID. Any update there, and how do you feel about the receiving core here today stepping in for him?
Well, obviously that receiving core we think is one of the best in the league, and we didn't have Gallup for the first half of the season for the most part, and of course he stepped in last week and right where he left off, making plays for us the last couple of weeks, and know he'll step up today, and just feel real comfortable. Said Wilson will be back rolling today as well, and certainly Noah Malik can step up. So, just feel like, we can play well with that group of receivers. We'll miss Amari, but, he'll work through his COVID situation just like most players, and he'll should be back with us hopefully sooner than later.
Okay, Cowboys win today what's the biggest key for you today for the Cowboys to come out here with the victory?
Well, we got to continue to play great defense, and certainly we're playing one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, not only now but for the future. And being able to contain him, certainly he makes plays on the move. He extends plays. We'll have to keep that in check, and then we just got to be the offense we've been for most of the season, which is be very balanced. We need to run that ball hopefully 30-plus times, and then and move the ball consistently and play with an edge. And we have a great opportunity to win, but it'll be a challenge.
Thanks, Stephen. Best of luck today.
Great being on, guys.
That's Cowboys COO Stephen Jones. Back to Kyle and the crew in studio.
Thank you very much, Rob. Let's go from Arrowhead Stadium to AT&T Stadium. How about the Rhythm and Blues dancers just getting it at the Miller Lighthouse, a fantastic tailgating area, even without a Cowboys game. So go check it out, the Miller Lighthouse. Even if you're not there today, go check it out at some point before the end of the season. We are here from the Star in Frisco. Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans, wrapping things up here on Cowboys Pregame Live. Before we get to keys to the game, we just heard Stephen Jones's. Let's talk about a key, in fact, of getting Greg Zuerlein back, as he was on the COVID list last week. How much is having Greg the Leg, a veteran kicker, back going to help this team in a hostile environment?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride with Zuerlein. He's made some clutch kicks, but he's also missed some clutch kicks. So hopefully this little break he had, he'll come back, get a little bit more consistency, because this game could come down to a field goal, and we're going to need Greg Zuerlein to make that.
I'm pulling those handlebars all the way down so I can be strapped in.
All right.
But for the roller coaster. but the good news is whenever you have Greg the Leg around, you do have that experience, and there's a certain confidence that comes with a veteran who has been around long enough to kick game-winning kicks in these type of environments. So I'm glad that he's back.
I'm with you, Church. Consistency, consistency, consistency.
It is key for Greg Zuerlein. Now, what's the key for the Cowboys getting a win? Barry, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna go D-line on this one. Dan Quinn did a great job of getting pressure on Matt Ryan last week in Atlanta, minus their two top dogs, Gregory and Tank Lawrence. So hopefully they can react that here in Kansas City, make life hard for Mahomes and these Chiefs, and hopefully we can walk out with a dub.
See, you know, I like to go to the shooting range, BC.
Okay,
and when you go to the shooting range, you know, this is going to be a shootout. So you're shooting, and when you run out, you need to replace your clip. You can't drop your clip. All right, we can't drop your clip, so we can't drop the ball. We can't turn the ball over. Don't give Patrick Mahomes and these boys more opportunities to score. Protect the ball.
I'm embarrassed. So I don't know about all the shooting, but I tell you, our offensive line going to decide this game. We did something early, and we thank you guys for doing that, but that's what's going to decide this game, the consistency of the offensive line.
Yeah, you said it. The words consistency and in the trenches. You got to win it in the trenches, and that's what the Cowboys are going to have to do in this one. Now, before we say goodbye here on Pregame Live, we have to say goodbye to one of our very own. Aaron Gonzalez is in his last day here with the Cowboys. And Aaron, come on up here.
Come on up, Aaron.
Come on up here, Aaron. Oh, yeah, don't you give me that look.
Oklahoma's
He's the man of many nicknames. He's the shoe god.
Get the shoes.
He's got the stash. Aaron Gonzalez has taken a job with the NHL's Dallas Stars. We are so proud of Aaron. He has been the man behind the scenes for much of the season. We've actually got a little gift for Aaron as well as Britt Johnson brings it up from the side.
Yeah.
We've got a Cowboys mini helmet. Just show that off to the camera. There we go. Cowboys mini helmet signed by everybody here in the department. Aaron, thank you so much for all your help throughout your years here with the Cowboys, and you're going to do great stuff with the Dallas Stars.
Don't want to see that on eBay, man.
It does have a Barry Church and an Nate Newton and an Isaiah Stanback signature, so maybe he does. But that's it for Aaron Gonzalez, for Britt Johnson, for Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton, and our guys out at Arrowhead Stadium. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Enjoy the game, everybody. This one's going to be a fun one. Cowboys Chiefs kickoff at 3:25 on Fox.